Okay, so I got sick of waiting for that virtual machine to complete the encoding because it was just ridiculous. It was just hours and hours. So I mean, I explained previously with the virtual machine you can pause it. It's like stopping time basically, and you can then resume it. And I'll tell you how it works simply. Or most people say, well, wouldn't that crash it? Wouldn't it cause problems? Wouldn't it mess up the CPU and what's being held in memory and what's? Well, actually, the way this works is it actually stops the. You see, when the CPU is communicating, the central processing unit is communicating with the virtual machine. You have what's called threads. Multiple. It's called multi-threading, and these threads are commands that are being sent from the software to the CPU, and the CPU sends commands back after it's processed the data back to the software. Now, the way it works when you pause the virtual machine is there's like a virtual CPU which is communicating with a real CPU, and the actual data that's in transit is buffered. The results coming back from the real CPU is coming back, and it's buffered into a separate file. So that CPU data is held in suspension, like, you know, like cryogenic freeze, whatever you want to call it. And any data that's about to be passed to the CPU is held in a buffer waiting to be sent to the CPU when the virtual machine is resumed and is reinitialized. So there is no data lost, and everything that's in memory at the time when you are running the virtual machine, when it's processing the data, like the encoding of the video, all that stuff that's in memory for that particular program is dumped into a file. It's like a memory dump file. You know, we've all heard of, well, all those of us who are technically minded understand what a memory dump file is. It's when you dump everything that's in memory into a file, right? Well, that's what it's called that. So the way the virtual machine uses that is it has a very sophisticated, I mean, I'm giving you the basic stuff, right? Has a very sophisticated way of halting the processing of the operating system for that virtual machine. So everything that's held in memory and everything that's in the process of being processed by the CPU is all dumped into relative files, and then it's reread when you reinitialize it, and that's why it goes into like this pause mode. You see a bar go across like it's going into pause. That's when it's dumping the data into a file, and when you resume it from that, it does the same in reverse, right? So I've actually seen this happen on my memory. The amount of memory that the computer is using when you actually pause a virtual machine, it just suddenly drops like a stone. You know, everything that was, you know, you might be using, say, 4 or 5 gigabytes of memory, and you pause it, and all that 4 or 5 gigabytes of memory just disappears out of the physical hardware because it's been dumped into a file. So anyway, having said all that, and hopefully you'll understand a little bit more about how virtual machines work, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually making a complete backup of 74 gigabyte of the virtual machine. I'm making a backup onto an external hard drive. Why are we doing that? Well, because I want to load the virtual machine on Windows 7, and Windows 7 is a newer version. It's version 12, and it will possibly upgrade the virtual machine. It will change it in such a way that I can no longer use it on the older virtual machine, right? Because it'll upgrade it to a newer virtual machine. So what I'm doing is making the backup so that when I finish using the upgraded version on Windows 7, I can revert back to the older version for the Windows XP. You see, the new version won't work on XP, but the old version has to be upgraded for Windows 7, if you get what I'm saying. So it's complicated, I know. But anyway, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm copying 220 items, 74 gigabyte. I'm currently going on the external drive caddy using the USB 3 interface, and I'm actually, so far I've copied, let me see where we are. Well, according to this, we've got 5.24 gigabytes remaining and 26 minutes, I think it says. So we've copied most of that now. So that's 74 gigabyte. I've almost copied 70, well, nearly 70 gigabytes. Probably 73 gigabytes in about it doesn't really tell me how long I've been doing it, but it says time remaining 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh yeah, so the total time would have been oh, I forgot, where does it say that? Oh, it doesn't say, does it? Yeah, anyway, it's been going for about half an hour anyway. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm hoping that the Windows 7 will be able to process this. We'll have a bit better handling of the I'm hoping it can actually incorporate the pause state of the CPU data and the memory data without crashing. Obviously, if it crashes, then the virtual machine will reset and everything that's been done so far in the virtual machine will be lost. That's the reason for the backup as well. Anyway, and the other thing is I've got the software installed on Windows 7 now. The video encoding software I managed to get installed on Windows 7. So if all else fails, I can just do the encoding. Just load the configuration file, the project file. And one of the things that might be different about that is that the paths to the folders might be different. So I might have to edit the actual configuration or project file and change some of the folder addresses in the file to point to the correct new location. So that's another messing about, but it's not that difficult. There's only about what, 4 videos, I think 3 videos, no, 2 videos actually. 2 videos, 2 audio files, and so that's basically 4 links I would have to update. 25 seconds remaining, it says. So for this copy to complete, I might as well just wait and see what happens. So I'll pause. Well, I'll wait a minute, because, well, 15 seconds, and then we'll see if I can get this to, I've actually copied it into the wrong folder on my external hard drive as well, but it's no problem. When you move the files to a different folder when you move files from one folder to another folder, hold on a minute. When you move them, you're not physically moving the files, you're just moving the address on the hard drive. I'll go back. So the 74 gigabyte, I put it in this folder. Oh, sorry, not update. I should have put it in the VMware folder. Yeah, so what I was doing was cut goes to the VMware folder, paste, and it's instantly there without moving any data. All it's done is change the address of where the files are actually stored. I mean, it's another word for folders in technical terms. Folders are just groups, that's all. So when you have, say, 30 files in a folder, what you've actually really got is 30 files in a group, and they've been given a group name. So when you move files on a, if it's on the same physical hard drive, when you move files on the same physical hard drive from one folder to another, all you're doing is assigning those files to a different group. That's basically what it is. Folders are groups, really, but we call them folders because people understand what folders are, because it's simple, it's self-explanatory. Anyway, right, so those files are backed up in that. Just copied them all. There's a lot there. That's data that's been going on for the past, since yesterday. Most of these files are just memory dumps and processing files. And right, so if I go close that out and open where's the virtual machine gone? The link. I hate this thing. Oh, it's gone back over here. I moved it over here. Oh. Right, save desktop. Right, I want to save the location. I've got this little tool that I can save where my icons are. Right, let me just load that up. Now, if I open this virtual machine, what the hell? Right. If I open that virtual machine now with this upgraded one, it'll probably force me to upgrade those files, but I've got a backup now, you see. So let's see, open Sesame. Where am I hate Windows 7. It's so difficult to navigate because it jumps around on me and I don't like it. Right, see, we double click it and it drops down, it goes straight down. I don't like that. See, click it and it goes down. Right, where's the, right, this should be the one that's in a pause state. Now remember, I paused this on Windows XP. Now, can it actually open this virtual machine on Windows 7 without crashing? That is the question. Now, if I resume this machine, it might not work. So that's the reason I did the backup. So let's try that. It might actually crash. But I've got a backup now on that external drive. So, see what happens. So now it's reading that CPU data and memory data back into memory. I wish I should have brought this thing up. Hang on. Bring this up. Now look at the memory going up. Just minimize it a minute. See if it actually works. How to process CD-ROM device J. Oh, that's okay because the CD-ROM different addresses on there. Some of the hardware is configured different. That's what I was worried about. So if I go to, you'll see that the CPU's busy now. Look, the read in-out bytes, I/O bytes, is the same as it was on XP. It's about 11.8, so I'm not gaining any speed. The physical memory history has shot up because it's now gone back up to what it was on XP. So it's just resumed that virtual machine on a different computer as well, basically. CPU is busy because it's working. Now, I think I've got a black screen because it's using the different graphics drive. Oh, there it is. Let's go to full screen. Right, so it's actually resumed that process, editing that video on a different machine now. so I can, hopefully it'll run faster, but I'm just wanting to find out, and it doesn't seem to be going any faster. And I've still got the frozen bloody window. See if I can get that window unfrozen. Can't get rid of this damn box until it's finished encoding. So if I minimize the virtual machine again, go back to memory, see what's going on here. We can see that it's using 2.8 gigabytes of physical memory at the moment. These big spikes here, those are just where it's done some extra work, when it's caught up with itself. That will be when the clock on the virtual machine is resynchronized, because the clocks would have been a few hours behind when it was paused. So it could be 3 hours behind, so it has to catch up. So all this extra work is where the computer itself, the virtual machine, was catching up, setting its time clock, and also the time of day. It would have changed the background color of the map and all this stuff. So you get these big spikes where the computer's doing additional work. But these little spikes, I think these are indexes, or it's where it's written data to the virtual disk, because it also uses a virtual disk, which is basically a file which is on the physical hard drive. But it's working, it's doing the encoding, because you can see I'm actually getting a better result with this, because I'm actually getting, it's working faster, because the CPU, all six cores are actually much busier. So by moving it across to Windows 7, I am actually gaining processing power. It's actually running faster now than it was on Windows XP. So if I go down here and look at my, don't know if you can see it. Go down and look at the bottom down here, this box here. You can see all the in-out I/O bytes. So we've got, let's see, we've got physical memory being used, total physical memory. Oh, this is total memory, it's 8 gig. I'm not using all that though. Available 5.467 gigabyte. System cache 560 megabytes. Paged physical. This is what's physically being paged at the moment, memory. 465 megabytes, I think, yeah. That'll be what's paged in a file. And paged virtual, so that's the physical page there, where my mouse is. This is paged virtual. This is a virtual file. Well, this is an actual file, but it's inside the virtual machine, right? So there's two. There's a real one and there's another one, but they still contain real data. Non-paged, well, that'll be stuff that's in memory, because it's jumping around pretty fast. Let's see, am I getting less page faults? Oh, that's what I was interested in. Maybe. It just seemed like I'm getting less page faults. What are page faults? Though that's erroneous data which gets discarded and it has to do it again. Yeah, I'm getting no page red delta there, so that's good. So this is why the CPU is working harder now, because it's doing a better job on here on this Windows 7. So yeah, I'm just going over a little bit. These are the handles, number of processes being actually controlled right now. Handles are like, well, it's self-explanatory, it's like when you pick up 3 things. When the computer's controlling 3 things, it's got its handle. It's got a handle on 3 things. So handles are basically how many things it's handling at that moment. So it's handling 24,660 items, or data bits, or whatever you want to call it. It's got 1,145 threads, 87 processes. So if anybody's watching and wants to correct me on anything, be my guest, because I'm by no means a computer expert. I just know a bit. Probably more than some, but I don't know it all. There's so much stuff. I mean, I think most computer engineers, even they don't know everything. They have to use AI and they have to use computers to design computers these days, literally. Anyway, it's working. Now this was when it was paused, right? Now look at that. That's how much physical memory is being used on XP. This bit down here, right? It wasn't using it. It was using 1.8 gigabyte. But now on Windows 7, we're using 2.8 gigabyte. So that's considerably faster on Windows 7 than it was on Windows XP, because it's actually using an extra gigabyte of memory now. So it's running faster now. IO bytes, yeah, I think that's a lot higher as well. In out. IO is in and out. So it's data going in and data going out. That's what IO stands for. Anyway, enough of my waffling, because this video is 21 minutes long again and it's too bloody long. I missed part of the screen, didn't I? Sorry about that. So the bit over here I was pointing at earlier was handles here. Threads, processes, current, commit charge, blah, blah, blah. All this down here. So that bit was missed off the screen. Yeah, you can get an idea. Anyway, sorry about that. My bad. I better zoom out maybe. So I'm going to see how if this actually completes any faster than it did when I was waiting all freaking night. When I went to bed, actually I went for some sleep. I woke up 6-7 hours later and it was still at it. So maybe it'll go a bit faster now. Bye for now.